Hello lads and ladies, and welcome back for another video on the channel. Today, back for some more Sky Bet League One content with my Sky Bet League One unpopular opinions. 10 more of these before the end of the season. We've already done 2 of these. Let's see what we've got in store for you today. Let me know your unpopular opinions down below. Also, please remember to give us a like. Let's get 150. Go and like it all at the same time. And subscribe for more League 1 and 2 content. For me, everybody says that Barnsley are kind of underachieving. For me, you're only saying that because of the club that Barnsley are, the size of it, what they've done previously within this division. You know, they've gone up out of it a couple of times. You know, in recent years, they got to playoff finals, playoff semi-finals, and had pretty good seasons. However, for me, I think that the squad is average. They've got good players amongst it. But however, they're so short in key areas. They don't have a proper striker. They didn't invest in the summer. They lost key players 2 years ago. Didn't replace, lost players 12 months ago. It's been a drip feed. And Barnsley are probably where they should be in the division. For me, I like Barnsley as a club. I like the supporters. It should be doing better as a club. But if you gave their squad to Shrewsbury, you wouldn't be putting it in the top 6. You wouldn't be putting it in the top 10 as predictions. You put them below where they are now. People only put Barnsley where they are for what they've done previously. And for me, they've still got good players amongst it. The owners need to take some responsibility. Darryl Clark was hung out to dry. I also think Lincoln City have been a creature of their own downfall. That 16-game unbeaten run last year has probably been the worst thing that happened to them, in a way that the fans now expect that all the time and want that more, because they are a mid-table League One football club on budget, on squad, on management, on size and stature, and they want more, and I get that, and they don't like this, we're the 6th lowest budget in the division, we're doing well, and I get it. Sometimes you need a bit of perspective of where you are, who you are, what league you're in. It's difficult when you've got Wrexham, Stockport that have come up with healthy budgets. You've got Bolton Wanderers, you've got Birmingham City, Wycombe have got a decent squad as well. Charlton, Blackpool are well backed as well. And that's without mentioning a few other clubs as well that are up there. So for me, I think that sometimes Lincoln fans just need to have a breather and just remember where they are. They're doing well. Be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you can maybe fall down a few places in the pecking order. For me, I think Kevin Nolan at Northampton has gone under the radar since coming in. He's only won 5 of 16, but he's only lost 5 of 16, winning away at Leyton Orient and Mansfield and drawing at home to Birmingham, just to mention a few results. He's done well since coming into the football club. They're at about a point per game mark. They're over that since he came in. They're at about 1.2 points per game for the whole season now, which should see them safe. They've been pretty good in recent weeks as well. Nobody's mentioning the job he's doing. I think that Calderon coming to Bristol Rovers, and he was a bit of a swanky appointment. He's Spanish, he's different, you know, gracias. Whereas Kevin Nolan's just your basic English man. And all of a sudden he's not really rated for kind of what they are. And I think that Calderon was better rated because of his nationality. If Nolan was Spanish, everybody would be a lot more excited about his appointment. I think he's done well and deserves a lot better praise than what he's getting. I think that the League One relegation race this year has been really poor. I think that you look at Shrewsbury, you look at Cambridge, you look at Burton, are the 3 clubs that finished 20th, 19th and 18th, you know, not in particular order, but it's basically the clubs that were kind of countering to go down, very nearly going down, but again, it's been so poor. Burton have a gaffer for 8 weeks. Cambridge are just so poor in general. And then Shrewsbury have just a 14 points adrift. And Gareth Ainer's come in, and I thought he could have been the saviour. I don't think Jesus could have saved them this year, genuinely. That those squads are poor, they've not been backed enough, and they've basically been on a waiting list. Accrington was struggling, they went. Forest Green was struggling, they went after 1 year. Fleetwood was struggling for a couple of years, they finally went. You know, those clubs that were struggling, Morecambe's as well, to say, all finally left the division, Cheltenham as well. Then you take those clubs, they were next, and it doesn't help when Wrexham and Stockport come up. Well, they're coming up from League 2, so there's 2-year relegation spots that are not going to happen. Mansfield, you always thought would be safe, to be fair. That's another one. Crawley with the other one, and are in there. So for me, I think that it is the weakest it's ever been, but because of the strength that's coming up from League 2. And also saying that, I also think, for another opinion, is the mid-table bunch in League 1. is better than it's ever been. Yes, they're not great to watch. Rotherham, Wigan, Barnsley, Blackpool, Lincoln, Bristol Rovers, Northampton, Stevenage, etc. But they're quite strong and they regularly get points on the board. They can go away, and Northampton have been good in previous weeks as well. Rotherham have improved at home. Wigan have got a new manager, but have been pretty reliable. And for me, another opinion leading to another opinion, Rotherham and Wigan, I think that are still miles off the top 6 and top 10 where they want to be. And those clubs have been in recent years. Rotherham, I think, are more off it than Wigan. I think that Steve Evans, I question what he's doing there. Signed a lot of experienced pros on 1 and 2 year deals to get them into the football club. Sign them early. Everybody thought better of them. A lot of people have them in the top 6 this year, including myself. They've been miles off it this year, and I think they're going to be miles off it next year as well. They just lack key ingredients. They lack spice. They lack an aura away from home, especially. And Wigan just don't score enough goals. They've been a bit flat and haven't been a great watch. But under Ryan Lowe, maybe next year things can be a bit different. Talking the clubs in the mid-table bunch, I also think Stevenage, if I'm honest with you, have gone under the radar a little bit this year. Because they overachieved last year and did very well under big Steve Evans, unfortunately, Ravella's got that pressure. The mid-table in League One, I think they're over 40 points now. They won away at Wrexham. Only them and Leyton Orient, at the time did that. Then all of a sudden, won away at Barnsley 1-0. Did a double over Wrexham and Barnsley, by the way. So they've had pretty good runs against good sides in the division. They've gone 4 or 5 games without wins, and they've been pretty poor to watch. Haven't scored a lot of goals, haven't conceded a lot of goals, but they've been resolute. And Stevenage in League One, mid-table in League One. And again, there's only so many things you keep saying, oh, you want more. You always want more as a football fan. Sometimes you think, we're doing well here. You've got to just stand still for a minute and say you're doing well. Me as a Fleetwood fan in League One, maybe I did take it for granted when you're beating Sheffield United twice, Derby, being in the playoffs twice. But you do. You just need to make sure you know who you are, where your budget is, and where you're competing. You've got 3,500 supporters, and you're competing with Birmingham Cities and Bolton Wanderers, etc. Birmingham City, we're talking about competing with. For me, I don't think anybody can compete with them. I think they're the best team to grace League One. I think that if you took Paik, Iwata and Stansfield out of their team, probably the 3 key players, I still think they would finish comfortably inside the top 6. I think that they've got the best midfield 2 in Paik and Iwata. Obviously, Stansfield has only scored, I think, 9 goals in open play, but still scored a good number of goals on what he contributes to the team. They've got a very, very good, strong core. And yes, there's been really good squads. Ipswich's tally that got 99 points, Plymouth that got 101, etc. had great momentum behind them. But as an aura of the team that you really fear this Birmingham City team. And for me, it is the best team that we've seen at this level. I think Iwata and Paik are the best midfield 2 I've seen. And I know we've seen Bannon, with Morsey, Luengo, Connor Chaplin, Scott Twine, Dele Alli on current ability. And there is other players you can mention, Brendan Wiradu, Ethan Arahan. You could mention loads of other names. I just think they're phenomenal and nobody gets near them. I think that, I actually said this, I think Paik is the best midfield player in the league. And it wouldn't be by a mile. It'd be by about 10 yards because Iwata plays next to him. And that is the key difference. For me, Blackpool next season will be really up there. I think that they've drawn 15 games this year. Steve Bruce has done a good job at the Seasiders. However, they've just drawn too many games. They're better when they don't have the ball and they can counteract like they did away at Exeter. Again, Barnsley, they were terrific. I think if they would have won that game 5 or 6, you wouldn't have had any complaints. They were absolutely outstanding on that occasion. Again, next year, if you had a couple of attacking bodies, you keep maybe Niall Ennis on a permanent basis. They've never really replaced Jerry Yates, who was a club, I'd go as far and say he's a club legend there in that short period of time for his character, his enthusiasm. They loved him as on and off the pitch as well. But they miss him. They do miss him. I don't think that Rose didn't cut it this year. They sent him to Mansfield. I think that Carl Joseph is okay. They lost him. And then all of a sudden you lose key players. So I think Blackpool will be good next year. I think they'll finish inside the top 6. They'll just turn 5 or 6 of those draws into wins. They'll be there. Charlton did it this year. They drew 20 times this year. They've only drawn 9. They've won 19. They've just drawn. They've just won games instead of drawn. They are my League One unpopular opinions. Let me know if you do agree with them. Let me know if you do disagree. Let's have a chat in the comment section below. Until next time, I will see you later. Please remember to like if you like and subscribe. Let's get 150 of them and all subscribe down below. Thanks for watching.